It is officially football season here in Los Angeles, where football vibes are at an all-time high. Football is fun here in Los Angeles at Rams training camp. We are the First and Tuna podcast. If you don't know, I am your host, Tuna. Today, we're going to be talking about two of our player exclusives directly from camp, talking about the special teams battle that's going on, some of our highlights from the week, and our 6 standouts from the first week of Rams training camp, right after our generic intro music. Go. Boy, oh boy, what a fun week. If you don't know, us here at First and Tuna, we were blessed with media credentials for the very first time. So that means we got to be on the Rams sideline, behind the scenes, in the media room, rubbing shoulders with some of your favorite journalists that cover the Los Angeles Rams. Let's talk about that for a second. If you don't care, there's chapters below. Scroll ahead, jump right into the Rams coverage. For those that either know me personally or have been following us for a while now, thank you. First and foremost, the amount of kind messages, well wishes, like congratulations, and a lot of you I got to meet in person at Rams camp this past week. I cherish every single one of you. We're very small here and we're growing, but we're growing quickly because of folks like you. So thank you very much. It's as fun of an experience for a first timer like me as you can imagine. Being able to be on the sidelines like that. Like just the end of the week, I got to meet Torrey Holt, Rams that needs to be Hall of Famer. Legend Torrey Holt, got to meet him on Saturday. If you're a hip hop head like me, AZ Chike, we got to meet him as well. That was cool. He'll actually be quoted in one of our articles to end training camp, which is really neat. We got 2 player exclusives, like getting one-on-ones with Emmanuel Forbes and Jarquez Hunter, and wide receiver coach Eric Yarber. Yeah, phenomenal experience. I cannot elaborate on that enough. We also got to meet and chat with Rams legendary reporter who's gone on to cover the rest of the NFL, Jordan Rodriguez. Got some pointers from her. Shout out to her. Shout out to LAFB Network, Ryan Anderson, LA Times, Gary Klein, and the whole Rams PR team. Artists in that team, I can't imagine anyone's better in the industry than them at welcoming a newcomer like me. Like imagine, like you're running PR for an NFL franchise. And then someone like me, a a fan, a podcaster with no notoriety, asks for exclusive coverage like this, and it's granted, and you welcome him in, and treat me as equal as the most senior writer at the Los Angeles Times, or these folks at ESPN. Incredible. Cannot thank them enough. We are going to be missing a majority of week 2, unfortunately, as small as we are. We do have to work a 9 to 5, but we'll be out there at the end of the week to wrap up the week. And if week 2 is anything like week 1 was, the end of the week is the most intense because guys want to finish out. They want to close to a strong week, and that's what happened in week 1. Like I said today, what we're covering. First, we're going to jump into 2 of our player exclusives. We just posted the Emmanuel Forbes conversation this morning as of Monday, 8 a.m. That was a one-on-one, helping you guys get to know him better. And then the same with Jarquez Hunter, the rookie running back out of Auburn. We posted that a few days ago as well. Links to those in my Substack are below on this video. If you guys haven't, if you're missing the daily updates, the coverage, please, helps us a lot. Follow the Substack, our social medias. Everything's below here on the screen. Keeps you up to date because these long-form videos are only coming once a week for you. But let's jump into it. Our first player exclusive, a lot of people are excited to see this guy on the field. We love Kyron Williams. We love Blake Corum, but we might love Jarquez Hunter as much, if not more. You watch the guy run in the SEC. He's bringing that mindset and that mentality to the Rams backfield. It was very evident early on and often. Anytime he got the opportunity in the backfield, this is not padded practice in week 1. These are just helmets, but this guy is looking for contact. He's looking to punish people, and he told us that very vividly when we talked to him. If you read the article, you know the quote of the article. My favorite quote of the summer, in his words, by the time the fourth quarter comes, I want people to quit. That is an intense mindset you need to have as a running back, and that should make fans feel really good. As good as the rushing attack was last year, obviously you always need a constant hunger to evolve. McVay definitely brings that year in and year out. He's trying to evolve the offense. The addition of Jarquez Hunter should make fans good about that evolution of what to see in 2025. If he can develop like we hope he can, what we're seeing on the field, that's going to allow Kyren Williams to not have as many snaps as he wants to. He'll be as productive, but maybe more efficient because he doesn't have to, carry 99% of the carries. It gives a fresh body in those second halves, in the back half of the season. So that way, when you're trying to put teams away, if this team is supposed to be as good as they're going to be, you got to put teams away in the run game. If the offensive line is moving guys, you need someone not just with the home run hitting ability that Jarquez Hunter has, and he showed at Auburn, but somebody who can just put a constant beating on the defense. It's a win-win for everybody. He was getting a lot of reps, a lot of looks. It was really cool to see. One of my favorite moments from Jarquez was during a run drill. He didn't really get a lot of yards in this one carry, but for the little yards he was getting, he was fighting through Captain Quentin Lake for an extra yard. Now that's a rookie fighting through with a captain, somebody as good as Quentin Lake. It speaks volumes. Sometimes a simple play can send a message of what you're about as a player. The next player we got to talk to was this past Saturday. We got to talk to Emmanuel Forbes. We actually did that in collaboration with Brock Vieira of Sports Illustrated. Shout out to Brock. During the conversation, a lot of it went back to family. A lot of it went back to a fresh start, being around the right people. We all know his story by now. First round pick to Washington 2 years ago in 2023. Was supposed to be touted as great ball skills, super athletic, long guy, a little bit on the lighter side, but still really physical. And for some reason, it just didn't work out in Washington. They ended up releasing him last year. And it doesn't matter if you're a young player or, long-term veteran, getting released by a team probably fucking sucks. Brock asked a lot of those hard questions, what happened in those first 24 hours. If you want to read about it, again, it's in our Substack, link below. We just posted it this morning. But it went back to leaning on his family. He's really family-based from the conversation that we had. It seemed like really open about it. Credited his mom for being like a heavy shoulder that he leaned on for advice, getting through that hard time. And even when his people around him mentioned, hey, maybe you just needed a fresh start. And that's exactly what he got when he came here to LA. One of my favorite things that Forbes told us when he was asked about what's a lesson that he learned here in LA that he'll, in a short time, that he'll keep with him for a long time. I'm just going to read this quote to you. Forbes said, honestly, just when I first walked in, Coach AP, Aubrey Pleasant, told me, I don't give a damn what the other team did to you. You got a fresh start here, and it's up to you to prove it. That statement is kind of the embodies the entire conversation that we had with him. You get the perception of a lot of guys, first rounder or not, that maybe there's a little bit of entitlement for their position, especially a first rounder. You didn't get any sense of that at all from Emmanuel. Super nice guy, super down to earth. But he talked about his mindset when he walked in the door here in Los Angeles. It was all about work, putting in the work, trying to prove himself. He doesn't look at himself as somebody that comes from a lot of success, that should be given things or even given a spot on the team. He's that humble. It's not even about should he start or should he be considered like an all-star. It's about, hey, do I belong on this team? He really credits the locker room. It's a brotherhood in that secondary, and that's something that I started seeing throughout the week is the interchangeability of the guys at cornerback. Everyone's asking, hey, who's going to start? Who's a starter? Who's a starter? It depends. We'll see more in pads in week 2, but honestly, the approach might be by committee. We always talk about running back committee. There might be a cornerback committee because a lot of those guys, there's some similarities, yes, but they each have their own strength, and that in itself is a strength on a week-by-week basis. on a week where you got to play the Justin Jeffersons because of that size difference. Maybe you want someone like a Kobe Durant on the smaller, speedier guys like a Tyreek Hill. It really depends week to week. And if you have the ability and if the whole room of the DBs really is a brotherhood and they have that mindset of, like Forbes put it, we don't really care who's like the guy right now. They're all hyping each other up. They understand, like, yes, we're fighting for position, but at the same time, like, we're rooting each other on. Like, we're all trying to fit in here. It really comes off as a family dynamic. And again, that family word, you really get that sense, not just from the DB room, but from the entire team. And then I'm going to read this last quote from you. My last question to Forbes, for us fans, we really don't know him that well yet. Like, he's only been here since December. So less than a year. We haven't really seen him on a field, but unless we don't really know him as a person yet. You know, we all want to feel like we know our favorite players. From Forbes himself, directly to you, the fans. I bring a lot of energy. I tend to talk a little bit on the field, but been trying to calm that down. He was laughing when he said that. But there's a time and place to talk, and I'll interject. I told him, don't stop that. Like, us fans, like, we loved Ramsey. One of the things that we loved was he liked to talk shit. So, yeah, keep that going, Forbes. I bring a lot of energy. I'm a playmaker, honestly. I like making plays on the ball, turnover machine. If you look at my college highlights, I have 2 interceptions in the NFL, and I'm just trying to bring everyone together. That's one thing about me, and yeah, a lot of energy. Yeah, you can sense it, man. If you watch some of the clips that we're probably rolling over while I'm talking, fans were taking during scrimmages on Saturday and throughout the week. Saturday in particular, man. We'll just jump right into the DB battle. We're kind of merged this section, but the wide receiver DB battle Saturday, the end of the week, was extremely intense. And it really showed in one matchup in particular. So you have Devontae Adams, an all-pro, going against Emmanuel Forbes for a good majority of the day. Now, I wrote about it that Devontae Adams really was the star of Saturday. Like, first pass was to him, open, boom. And then again, and then again, and again. Caught a lot of balls. He caught a touchdown, would-be touchdown over Forbes pretty early in practice. That one's all over social media. It was a double move. It was a variant of like a slant and go. But what isn't talked about, the context. A play or two before that, Jimmy Garoppolo took a deep shot to Adams on Forbes. Forbes matched him stride for stride. And then right before the ball gets there, Emmanuel Forbes hit like another acceleration. It was like they were even, and then they weren't. Right before the ball got there, tips it away, big play. He's talking. He's yapping. That's where the energy comes from. And then a few plays later, Devontae scores. But rather that be it, Adams is, picking apart the rest of the defense. They go at him again. He gets another deflection. They go at him again against Whittington. Jump ball. Tips it away. Now, I like that play a lot. If you're watching it, again, no pads. But the technique is there. Him being a long guy, even though he's thinner, he's got super quick feet. He gets up higher than Jordan Whittington. Like, he's there causing havoc on the receiver, but not bumping enough to get a pass interference, able to deflect the ball away. If everything he was saying in the interview that we had with him is true, and it really feels that way, they're giving this guy a lot of confidence. And the last thing that other teams want is a former first-round pick with that amount of talent, having the confidence and the belief from the team behind them that, yeah, hey, man, go ball. Go fucking lock shit down. That we saw that from Forbes on the day. Getting into the rest of the wide receiver DB battles throughout the week, we notated a lot of stuff, and I urge you. No, we're not saying, hey, go pick up this guy in fantasy. We're not big on fantasy advice, because if you lose money, that's not my problem. Konate Mumpfield, and I'm not sure if I'm saying his first name right. I'm quoting Devontae Adams, how he quoted it in his presser earlier this week. But Konate Mumpfield, all week impressed. From day one, impressed with his routes, how smooth he looked, his hands. His hands, I said, per quote, are like vacuum cleaners. Like they just suck the ball up. Pause. Right away. And that's live on against coverage as well. As the week progressed, and hopefully I'm not speaking out of line here. Sorry, Rams, if you're mad at this. But throughout the week, we saw him catch more and more balls against live coverage, even against press, even against off coverage. His routes, his route tree, and his leverage. Something that Devontae Adams talked about. He was teaching these guys a lot was about leverage and the art of getting open. His leverage was on display. He was able to attack guys. There was one play where he made a defensive back stumble backwards. Clean route, clean footwork, wide open for a first down. He's catching balls in the red zone. And that's another thing. Anytime a ball was thrown near him, it was caught. Even if it was a contested ball, even if it was like a short gain, like in a flat or an out, catches the ball. Really, really liked what I saw. And for him being wide receiver 6 or whatever it is on the depth chart right now, it has to make fans feel really good. And my takeaway from that is, let's say this is the depth chart. Let's say obviously it's going to be Puka and Devontae, and then whatever mix that they use on a week-by-week basis of Jordan Whittington, Tutu Atwell the most paid out of this bunch, of course, Xavier Smith, and throw Konate Mumpfield in there. Think back to last year when we didn't have Cooper Kupp, didn't have Puka Nacua for injury, and you're relying on a mix of Atwell, Whittington, Xavier Smith. Let's say that same situation happens in 2025, knock on wood, God forbid. And we want everyone to stay healthy, but it's football. It happens. I feel great about this backup group, like these role players. If you had to roll a Adams and Nacua-less wide receiver group with Stafford at the helm, from what we're seeing so far from these guys, the skill set, the growth as well of Jordan Whittington and Xavier Smith, watching them do things against the secondary, Rams fans should feel very good about the depth of this wide receiver group. Counterpoint. If you feel that good about the wide receiver group, even without my say-so, you have to feel equally as good as the secondary. Now, I want to talk about the secondary, and I'm spewing Rams propaganda here, but this is my honest opinion of that secondary. Now, I want to talk about the secondary as well. Counterpoint. If I, or if you, even without my say-so, feel this good about the wide receiver group, from what your guys are seeing from highlights and whatnot, you have to feel equally as good as the secondary. I know coming into the offseason with the draft, they didn't draft the corner. They brought in some undrafted free agent safeties to help with that position depth as well. But they like who they have in-house. I've been kind of a quiet supporter of this. I should have been a little bit louder in the offseason. That's on me. I get vibes of some of these Chiefs secondaries the last few years, where outside of L'Jarius Sneed, who got a big contract with the Titans, him being, having an all-pro year for 1 year, you got to feel really good about that kind of approach. Like, it's more about the coordinator, the whole entire system, and that whole unit just playing as one selflessly. That's the vibe I'm getting from that secondary. Getting a lot of guys rotating in, a lot of guys getting good reps and showing really good things. And we're talking top down. So that's Akella Witherspoon and Darius Williams. That includes Kobe Durant. Darion Kendrick had a lot of good plays as well. I loved what I saw from him. And even Charles Woods and Jalen McCullough. Those guys in particular, probably the one I saw the least wow plays outside of day one was Charles Woods. That has nothing to say about amount of reps or anything or who did things wrong, but that's just from my perspective. I could be missing things. Going from the bottom up though, talking about some of these guys, Jalen McCullough, I look at him as Quentin Lake light. So if something happens to Quentin Lake, I love a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing from Jalen. Same body type, seems like same play style too, and he has that historic ability at the star position that we saw last year. When they moved Lake back to deep safety for some games, McCullough filled that role and produced with interceptions as well. Loved what I saw by him. The change to jersey number 2 it's a choice. It's a good choice too. But then as we continue to move up the roster, Akella Witherspoon looked phenomenal early on in the week as well. Looked really good. Doesn't look like he has the energy of like a younger dude. I think because he hasn't had a lot of playing time in some years, that maybe he's fresher than guys his age, which is really nice. And finally, Kobe Durant, man. Durant, he's got the energy that you wish every DB had, like just constant yapping. If I had to say who the biggest yappers on the team are from being at practice, verse, of course, second is Kobe Durant. Yeah, he definitely yaps. He lets you know when he made a play on you. He'll celebrate every play in practice. You absolutely love to see it. And then last but not least, we highlighted Forbes earlier in this episode. But really, my message about Forbes is you Rams fans are no stranger to high caliber players coming into Los Angeles under McVay, and getting a sort of second chance. And I would not be surprised if this was another tally in that column for McVay, helping a player not just on the field, but as a person, kind of get a redeeming shot at their career. He seems extremely happy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's extremely productive this year. Some of the things that we were not able to see, though, where it was really getting a good evaluation on the line play, offensive and defensive line, just because there's no pads. You're going, half to three-quarter speed on or strength on some stuff. You can only see so much. There was a few times I notated really good plays, like speed-wise, from players like Nick Hampton. Hampton changed to jersey number 6, another great move. He looks like a baller in that jersey number. Jared Verse had obviously plays throughout the week where you got to give him a plus because, damn, looks pretty damn good. Tyler Davis popped once or twice. But the guys on the interior, we're talking about the guards. We're talking about like Kobe Turner, Poona Ford. Really didn't get a chance to evaluate them that much. I feel like a lot more of that news is going to come this week by the end of the week because pads come on. We'll see how they're adapting to the run game there. Speaking of the run game, absolutely. You've got Jarquez Hunter in the mix with Hunter and with Williams and Corum. God, I can't talk. Not breaking down how many reps guys got. We don't do that here, but it's good to see when the rookies are like getting looks. Coaches are trying to evaluate, hey, how does this guy fit on the team? How does he work with this quarterback? How does he work with that quarterback? How does he work with inside versus outside? My favorite things I saw from Hunter on the day or on the week were when he did bounce it outside, if he is able to outrun an outside linebacker, which he did often, him head up with the secondary on the outside, I'm probably taking Hunter. Whether he's agile enough to shake around you, or he might just bowling ball straight through you. He's got that juice to do that. Wrap up all the good things that we saw at Rams camp in week 1. Let's jump into my top 6 standouts from week 1 in no particular order. But speaking about the linebackers, let's talk about number 1, Nate Landman, for you Landmaniacs, Landmanites, Landmanmans. But no, honestly, I absolutely love what I saw from Landman in week 1. This is no slight on Spates or Sean Dolek doing good things. We didn't get a chance to see Pooh that often. He's dealing with a little bit of a calf injury, according to McVay later in the week. But I'm pretty much just going to rip this from my article on Substack. So if you'd rather read it, again, go check out the Substack. I would greatly appreciate you guys. So through the first week, he looks the part of a starting NFL middle linebacker. Looks sick with the dark visor as well. He feels extremely important on the field for this defense. You get a real sense of leadership. That was a big thing for me that I saw throughout the week. The leadership. Things seem quick-paced, like not rushed, but fast. And I feel like he's a big contributor to that so far. Some of the best things I saw from him, his positioning on passes over the middle. Passing windows felt tight in that area. Even when there were completions, more often than not, I saw him right there, like waiting a foot away from a wide receiver, just waiting to hit him. That kind of punishment is going to be key for the defense. I know fans want to know about the run contain. Hard to tell again without pads on. We're going to get a better sense of this in week 2. But the last bit I saw was his angles. When there were things outside, when somebody catches something in the flat, his pursuit angles are great. He's always right there, barreling hard downfield at a running back to put them in a bind to make a move quicker than they want to. And then, like I said, the intangible, his leadership. I would not be surprised if he's a potential captain. Not saying he will be, But yeah, I think middle linebacker, if he starts calling the plays, not sure if it'll be him, Spates, or Lake, but if he is, I mean, the efficient looking communication probably will be a largely part and due to him. Excited to see what he does when pads go on. Number 2, like I said, talked about a little bit earlier, Konate Mumpfield. He was taken in the 7th round. Quickly noticeable how often he was able to get open against corners throughout the week. Kept being looked to. For a lot of teams, it's rare for a late rounder, let alone 7th rounder, and sometimes undrafted guy, be looked to in camp like Konate has. Why they are they just trying to get him acclimated? Are they trying to see what he can do? Don't know. Everyone's different. Like just because Puka only catches 2 balls in a day, does that mean Puka's having a diminished role? No. Adams had a huge day as well. Does that mean he's getting acclimated? Like, there's a lot of different things that we don't know. I'm literally speculating. But I will say, when I asked someone about how on earth did Konate fall to the 7th round, they gave us a huge smile. They love this guy. They love all the receivers, but they're very, very happy being able to have Konate here in LA. 2 of the best plays that we noted, he routed himself wide open for a first down, making a DB stumble like we talked about. And he had 1 contested catch near the sideline. It wasn't for a big gain, but watching him secure a pass with a corner trying to run through him, there's no pads. Guys are still kind of hitting sometimes. That was really impressive to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a productive preseason. Number 3, Emmanuel Forbes. If you haven't seen, it's all over social media. Him going back and forth with Devontae Adams. He had more plays than he didn't against Adams. When we asked him about that personally, we talked about, I don't have my article in front of me, but he really emphasized that them going at it one-on-one, that only helps each other get better. It helps him because Devontae Adams has been an all-pro for multiple years, and helping him just be better. Our iron sharpens iron, like Coach Blackburn said about the return game. And for Adams, that helps him against longer corners because he's learning something from Emmanuel Forbes too, because that's a new guy. He's got new techniques. So really fun to see. And then my other favorite play, he had a jump ball that he won a deflection against Jordan Whittington. We have no idea who the starting corners are going to be. But if Emmanuel Forbes ends up being a starter week 1 or at any point during the season, this guy earned the hell out of it. Next one, Jimmy G. We got a lot of Jimmy G fans out there. A lot of you have reached out to me this week about us speaking kindly about him. Hey, the guy's handsome and he's been playing extremely well. It's important right now because Stafford is nursing that back injury. We don't know how severe it's going to be, sore. You know how McVay is. He gives you information as he wants to give it. But as of right now, we're going to get a lot more Jimmy G during the first week of pads this week. And, man, he's looked good so far. And by looking good, we mean his decision-making. I think his worst day was probably day 1 on Tuesday. And I noted, I think that just kind of happens in football because day 1 of just anything new, like start a camp, start a pads, defense always has an advantage because they're just amped up. Defense is going to benefit from that kind of motivation, that kind of juice, as I put it. But I'm here for the Jimmy G propaganda because, I'm not seeing interceptions. I'm not seeing a lot of misplaced balls. I'm seeing him take shots downfield. I'm seeing him, give looks to Devontae Adams. I know Aaron Rodgers before had a quote about Adams, even if he's not open, he's still open. Because his body control and his ability to track a ball even with someone covering him is second to none in the league in some years. So watching him do that, it should give fans extreme confidence watching Jimmy progress as he has. Because, let's be honest, Stafford is in year 17. And you guys know I am the hugest Stafford stan. But you got to be realistic, man. That's a lot of years of wear and tear. If there's a situation where Matthew Stafford has to take a week, like he has in the past few years, we don't want a situation where the offense has to completely change, or we're not sure what the approach is going to be. Are we now going to run it 80% of the time? Can we not run a quarter of the playbook because we have a different quarterback? You want as seamless of a transition with the backup during hard times. Hopefully they're not extended times because we want Glock 9 at quarterback, of course. But from what I'm seeing and from the things that McVay is saying about Jimmy G, that he is starting caliber in this league, I believe it. I don't think that's bullshit coming from McVay. I think there's truth to that, and it is doubling. I was talking with LA Rams superfan, shout out to him. I do think it is doubling, preparing fans to feel confident in Jimmy should he have to play this year. I don't think it's negative propaganda, but I am here for it, and I'm helping promote it. Another guy, Jarquez Hunter, we talked about him earlier as well, has looked really good. Again, he wants to make guys quit by the fourth quarter. There's going to be some people buying Jarquez Hunter jerseys this year. I shit you not. The Mississippi guy is a baller. Fun fact, if you read the article, Jarquez Hunter and Emmanuel Forbes actually played against each other in high school in 2020. They played twice. Forbes talked about it. They beat Hunter's team the first time. And then the second time they met in the playoffs, Jarquez Hunter had a long touchdown run. They came back down 22 in the fourth quarter. He had a long touchdown run, and then the very next drive, he had a pick six to help his team come back. So Hunter's just a baller. We've seen that with him at Auburn. And then my last guy, standout, it's no surprise, but we got to talk about it because he is a new face, Davante Adams. He's as good as advertised. I don't care if he's in his 12th or 20th year. He doesn't look the part. He looks fresh. The way he runs, the way he strides, man, he glides. He's like butter. It's so smooth. And how he gets open and how he catches the ball too. Saturday was the Tay show. I don't know if he had extra juice because Torrey Holt was out there, but he ain't lost a step. And I'm going to double down again on the Jimmy Garoppolo propaganda. With Davante Adams on the field, remember, he has that familiarity with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I know a lot of reports came out, and there's a lot of sound bites and clips that, Adams doesn't like Jimmy G, and he hated playing with him. I don't give a shit. They're here now. They're both in a better system than they have been in the past few years. Sorry to the Raiders and Jets fans, but it's objectively a better system for them both. But they also have that familiarity to a tendency standpoint. They know how each other communicates. They know how each other talks. So again, if there is a situation where Jimmy G has to play for an extended period or any at all, Adams is familiar with him. So you have comfortability that your second quarterback understands wide receiver one. The other thing that's super imperative that Coach Yarber talked about with us, Adams makes the other wide receivers better. I know Adams talked about that and giving them tips and leverage and how to get open, and knowing what a defense is doing helps you. We have a piece coming out near the end of camp with Eric Yarber, talking about how his presence alone, like having new wide receivers come in, always helps him learn more too. But then it is with someone like a veteran like Adams, it is like another coach coming in the door, spotting things that Yarber misses. Adding context of his experience. And one of the quotes he gave me was, Adams has seen things I haven't seen around the league. He's felt things that I've never felt before on the league. Playing against certain guys. Like sometimes you visually watching film only does so much to communicate to receivers how to do things. Having another wide receiver that's felt it, that can express it in a different way, communication is a key, and we've been hearing it all week from coaches about communication being key and learning in the film room. Those are my 6 that really impressed throughout the week from the sideline. I think this list will change, adding the linemen, of course, and I'm really excited to see what happens when pads go on. And then last but not least, special teams. I'll just burn right through this. Coach Blackburn talked about the return position, that there is going to be a competition. Britton Covey and Xavier Smith are going to be battling, I think, for both the kick returner and definitely the punt returner position. But also they're evaluating the gunner position as well. There's no slight on Xavier Smith, what he was talking about. He did a great job for them. But same as any other position, you're constantly trying to get better. Like they brought in Davante Adams, bringing in rookies at running back, even though we're good there. Same with returner and gunner and other spots on the special teams. You want to push guys to be better. I think the addition of Covey is going to make Xavier Smith better and is going to make the entire special teams a little bit more dynamic and have options as well. I'm really looking forward to see how that plays out. I think we're going to get more of that in preseason, more of a definite answer of what these guys are capable of. But biasly, as Xavier Smith fans here, he's looked really good, even on the offense as well. The looks that he's gotten. Really excited to see what the return game looks like. Whew, we made it. Made it to the end of the episode. A little bit longer. I tried keeping it under 30, but we're right at like 38 or so. If you made it to the end of this episode, I appreciate you. Hopefully the information's been good. We'll be right back here at the end of the week Sunday to recap week 2. Unfortunately, we'll only be out there on Saturday and Sunday. We got 9 to 5. If somebody wants to hire us full time to do this, we're listening. LA Times, we're looking at you. But thank you for the support. Follow one of the links in the bottom. Honestly, if you asked me what to follow, please hit that Substack. We are writing and putting a lot of work in that every single day for you guys, for the fans, and then probably the Instagram, because that's majority where I spend my time at with updates. So thank you to everybody. Shout out to everybody, all the new friends I've made this week, and I will see you on the next episode. Later.